Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering King Thanos. He made his first appearance in the self-titled Thanos, Volume 2, Issue number 13, that was released in November 2017. His real name is Deviant, also being known as Old King Thanos, as well as King of Nothing and the Lord of Ash. Being a Deviant Titanian Eternal that stands 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighs more than 1,000 pounds, typically having all blue glowing eyes, thin gray hair, and purple skin. Now, being the Thanos of the future timeline Earth-TRN666, King Thanos has all the abilities of the classic Thanos, albeit far more powerful and stronger. This is due to his body having millions of years to absorb cosmic energy, as well as using this time to greatly enhance his knowledge and abilities. But as a baseline, you should know that Thanos has vast superhuman strength, the upper limits of which are not known, and that allows him to rival the physical strength of the biggest heavy hitters in the Marvel Universe, including Thor, Hulk, Annihilus, Tyrant, and even Phoenix Force-empowered beings, and this is without the Infinity Gauntlet. Additionally, he has superhuman agility and reflexes, vast superhuman stamina, and durability that easily borderlines on invulnerability, vast energy projection, as well as energy and matter manipulation, telepathy, flight, low-level healing factor, as well as immortality, which he can thank death itself for that. And to supplement these vast physical gifts, he also has an extreme genius-level intellect, has a wide berth of mystical knowledge, and is a masterful combatant. Now, keep in mind that everything I just said is greatly boosted with King Thanos. And when you combine this with the fact that he has no glaring weaknesses, it's easy to see why this storyline is referred to as Thanos Wins. Now, if you fast forward millions of years into the future, you'll see that the heroes of Earth-616 were constantly growing older and weaker, while Thanos only got more knowledgeable and stronger. This supervillain would eventually reach a tipping point in his quest to please death, gradually getting to the point that he was more powerful than all the heroes and villains, basically everything that lived, and using this dominance to literally kill off everything to please his would-be queen. There would be very few beings that could elude King Thanos, with him subduing the powerful future Hulk into almost an animal-like state, as well as him subjugating the one being whose nature would preclude him from killing, which was the Ghost Rider Frank Castle. The only other two beings of consequence that could possibly resist him were Galactus and Silver Surfer, who would become the extremely powerful and worthy Fallen One. So after many millennia and finally taking out Galactus, King Thanos would use a piece of the Time Stone to send his servant the Rider back in time to bring his younger self to the future. After the young Thanos arrived in the future, he quickly began a fight with his older self, thinking that he was an imposter. But this brawl would come to an abrupt stop once King Thanos confirmed his identity by calling him the long-lost name that his mother was going to give him, Deviant. King Thanos would then go on to reveal that he had lost touch with death, and that he needed his younger self's assistance to take down the one being whose death would bring her back, which was the Fallen. Young Thanos initially didn't take his older self seriously, seeing as how the Fallen One he knew wasn't a threat to him at all. But once the Fallen One and his Annihilation army attacked, the young Thanos would find out that this foe was actually a far more powerful version of Norrin Radd, who he knew as the Silver Surfer. King Thanos, young Thanos, and the Rider then fought viciously against the attack, with the two Mad Titans and the Fallen One being the only beings left. The two powerful villains would then viciously attack the Surfer, dispatching of him in the most brutal of ways, claiming this final life would prompt his beloved death to return. Yet there was one more thing that needed to be done. King Thanos had to die to be with death, and so he wanted to go out in a glorious battle with no one other than himself. However, despite the young Thanos getting an upper hand on the older, he would stop his attack before delivering the killing blow. He had become disgusted at King Thanos' begging for death, and seeing as how in his mind a king doesn't beg, he walked away, taking the piece of the Time Stone, and returned to his past timeline, being determined to never become like this future self. Shortly after, we would see King Thanos and his entire timeline start to fade away. And with his last few words, he would ask Death what his younger self did to get rid of him, to which she would simply reply, he won. Yet even after his entire timeline was erased, we would eventually see King Thanos rise again, with him being present at the very moment to greet his enemies, the Universal Church of Truth, as their failed plans would lead them to materialize right in front of him in his timeline. Now, for his powers and abilities and his influence on the Marvel Universe, For my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give King Thanos a rating of 10, which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.